Hi, George here, and I wanted to talk about the new update here in Aiarty Image Enhancer by the sponsor of this video, Aiarty. I'll be looking at this whole program, but I wanted to point out just a couple of new features here that were just added in that I think are very important. And before we get into the training, if you want to find out more about this great program, you'll find links for that at the top of the description. One takes you right to the main information page for this, and the second link is a discount link. You can use it right now to save 50% off of the program. If you go over here, right-hand side, let me just collapse a couple of these things here. Here we go, two things. There's a new AI eraser tool. It's still an experimental. I'll be showing you how this works. Great new feature. And also, down in export settings, these have been expanded with the addition of TIFF export and DNG export. Okay, let's take a look through this whole program here and just see what this can do. Now, I find that this program is especially useful on really low quality images like this one right here. This is just a little 640 by 424 image. So it's pretty blotchy, as you can see here. It actually has some blocking going on in there and some JPEG compression showing up around the edges in here. Pretty bad looking image. It's okay if you viewed it at a small enough size like that, then it's fine. But it's not great. It's not really sharp. But the Aiarty Image Enhancer quickly comes through and cleans it up, makes a beautiful image out of this. Let's take a look down here at the foliage. I'll just zoom in real tight. So here's the before. You see all the jagged edges in here and the JPEG compression in along there, and that kind of highlighting effect along that one branch in there. And then here's the cleaned up version. As you can see, vastly improved. And that's with just a simple 2x upscaling on that. And that's where this program really shines, is on these smaller images. Okay, right-hand side, the very top thing here we have where you can choose your hardware. This just shows what my computer happens to have on it right now. I'm not working with a major graphics computer. This is just a business computer I'm using for this video, so it's nothing special. And that's an older graphics processor on here, but it works out fine for this. We have several AI models in here. Notice that there's kind of a dark orange and a light orange. The dark orange are the newer models, and the light orange are the older models. So you'll tend to find the darker orange, these will work out better because they're just newer versions. So I tend to use the more detail right here at the top. In most cases, this one works out best for me. But if it's a critical image, if it's really important, if I was doing this for a client, I would go ahead and check all of these just in case. You can increase detail with just a one-time upscale, but I like going for at least a two-time upscale so that there are more pixels to work with in the picture. The larger the upscale, the more detail that can fit into that particular picture. I found in most cases, though, 2x works out pretty well, but it depends upon what your final size is as well. Notice we have two sections in here, an orange section and a green section. The orange section here is just multiplying it 1x, 2x, 4x, 8x. The second section here, this is your image size, 1K, 2K, 4K, and 8K. And you can see over here the pixel dimensions on that. So if you know your pixel dimension, then use this section. If you just want to increase the resolution and the actual pixel dimension is not that critical, just come over here and use one of these multipliers. If you want to upscale to a specific size, like going for an 8x10 at 300 dots per inch, then come down here to custom resolution and type that in. This is what I did right there, that 3000. That happens to be 10 inches wide at 300 dpi, gives you 3000 pixels. So that's your custom resolution. You can do both of those, and that's with a two-pass processing right down here. You can choose to either do the same model twice, the same processing twice, or you can do the other one as well. So it go through for more detail first and then do smoothing second, or vice versa, either way. So you can come in here and process the image twice and actually use both of these top AI models on the same image in the same process. Now, sometimes with AI, things can begin to look a little plastic. Just go ahead and take a look at that. I'll use this standard image that they use in here. I'll leave it at more detail, upscale it 2x. Let's go ahead and do a quick inference on this and then take a look at that strength adjustment. And again, it's very good if the AI is going too far on faces. Sometimes it does, and they begin looking a little bit AI-ish. You can tone that down with that strength adjustment. Okay, we'll go ahead and let this inference finish. All right, here we go. And the AI looks really nice. It's maybe just a little bit AI looking in here, maybe a little bit too perfect. And you can adjust that with this strength control. Just back this off and it blends the AI version with the original version. And you basically get a little bit more skin texture when you do that. And I found from experience here that about 75 here, 0.75 Works out very well. It brings back just enough of the skin texture that it loses that kind of plasticky AI effect. So I tend to like doing the strength at about 0.75, but only when I'm working with faces like this. Okay, let's come down and take a look at our next section down here. We have color, and this allows you to come in and make color adjustments. Now at the very top, notice we have restore color. Sometimes AI can get colors wrong. For instance, going from brown to blue eyes or brown to hazel eyes. You can use this to restore the original color in the image. It doesn't remove the AI sharpening or any of those things. It just restores the original color. So if you have some odd color shifts, go ahead and give this one a try again. I haven't found any need for using this in anything that I've done so far, but it is available. Also notice as I make any adjustment in here, we get a reset button. Goes back to the original setting. There is one for each one of these specific settings in here, and there's also one for the whole thing. You can reset everything at one shot right there. So the little arrows, click on that, and that resets that. Okay, we can do the standard temperature and tint adjustments in here. I tend to like making people just a little bit warmer. For whatever reason, they always look a little bit bluish to me. That's possibly because people are frequently photographed outdoors. You know, the big blue sky tends to add a lot of blue into them. So I tend to add a little bit more orange into people's skin tones. And then tint is from green to magenta if you want to change that. Down here we can change the exposure, contrast, saturation, highlights, shadows, whites, and blacks. And on any of these controls, I like to rock these back and forth like this. I just go real large amounts. I can get a really good idea of what it's changing. And I'll kind of refine that and just come in until it looks good. If it's not that much of a change, like 2, I'll just leave that one alone and reset that one. Most images can use a little bit more contrast. Saturation, it depends upon the image. You may or may not want more saturation. You can go really strange, real harsh saturation, real low saturation, which can be an interesting look actually, kind of a special effect look. But a little bit more saturation, again, frequently helps. So you'll tend to see my images of a bit more contrast and a bit more saturation. Highlights works on your lights, a little more highlight in there. Shadows works on the shadows. So it's lighter to the right, darker to the left. So if you want to darken your shadows, go to the left. And again, I rock these back and forth till I see something which I like. Whites is just the far right side of your spectrum, the white part of that. It will affect other lighter values. Same thing for the blacks, more focused on the far left side. And I think that's looking really nice. Again, I could have done all this stuff later on in Photoshop, but that's fine. Do it right here and just save some time. And for most cases, that's all I would do to a picture. And then I'm ready for taking this to an export. We'll come back and take a look at the new AI eraser and text in just a bit. But let's go ahead. We'll finish this image. We'll take this out for export because I did want to mention the export settings right down here. Now you can expand or collapse this section by hitting that arrow. And you have 5 options now. PNG 8-bit, or if you want the best quality, come down here and use TIFF. Because TIFF is uncompressed, you're not going to be losing anything in here. There also now is the DNG format, which is digital negative, and this is specifically when working with camera raw imagery. Once you have your settings in here, once you've made your decisions on that, you can change your DPI level right here if you need to. There's the original DPI. I'm setting this up for print, which would be at 300 DPI. You can choose your output path. I have this one going to an export path I set up here for these Aiarty videos. You can open that up right here, or you can browse to a different file location. And then for a single image, just click on the single export. Now, batch export is going to be exporting anything that you have open over here in our set of images. So if you want to do batch export, open everything up. Make sure you do all of your settings up here for each image, and then go ahead and hit batch export. If you only want to export just one image, then just click the single export button. We'll go ahead and we'll do that. This goes very fast. There we go, because all the work has already been done. That's what we did when we did that initial interpolation and our adjustments in here. So the export part of this goes in just a couple of seconds. And notice that it also opens up your file folder right here, which is very convenient if you want to go right over to a different program and then just drag and drop from this folder into your other program. And let's come down and take a look at this new AI eraser. This is experimental. And the basic idea is that you brush over areas to paint out what you want to get rid of, and then click apply, and then it uses AI to remove those and replace them with content that matches the rest of the picture. So I'll go over here, click on the plus sign right there. And I have one down here that I used years ago as one of my projects for Photoshop Elements, which is right here. Let's back out of this. And the basic idea here is to remove this person and that shadow and leave just this center person jumping over all this water. And before you use the AI eraser, you have to do an inference. So let's make sure I have everything else set up the way I want to. More detail, my normal upscale at 2 times. Everything else is fine. Let's just check, make sure that face restoration is off. That's correct. Okay, so I'll do the basic inference. And once this is done, we can go in and then mark this person out and see how well Aiarty removes that from the image. Okay, there's the inference. We can now come down and let's enable the AI eraser. Click on Edit Mask. It can either add in or remove with these 2 brushes. There's the remove, here's the add. And you can change your brush size right down here. Here's the brush size. That's probably okay on this one. And then simply brush over what you want to remove, just like this. Leave a little bit of space around it. You don't want to be right up against that edge. And let's just come around and block in the whole area here. Make sure you don't miss anything. And we'll fill that in. And I'll get the shadow. Now, shadow I can use a smaller brush on, so it'll just come down in size here. You also can type in a size. I'll just type in 25 like that. That's about half size. And that'll work for the shadow. And let's bring that in. There we go. And let's click Apply. And it's going to go through, do the inference again, and do that removal. And we'll see how well it does. And there we go. Did a beautiful job of that. When you have everything removed that you want, then simply click on Finish and hit the Start button. And it's going to go ahead and finish the processing for that. Okay, final processing is done. I'll just scroll back out on that. And here's our before. And there's the after. Just did a beautiful job on removing what we didn't want to have in there and increase the detail all at the same time. So I think this is a great new addition to this program. Very useful. And the last thing we have in here is the add text. This simply allows you to come in and add text into your picture. You see right here, there's some text. You can move this block around anywhere you want to. You can resize it on the corners here. You can take this little control hand and actually rotate this around. It snaps into the horizontal, so it's very easy to get back there if you want that. Then down below here, we can come in and choose different typefaces. There we go. You can change what it says by typing it in right here at the text box. Let's make that say jump. You may have bold, italic, underline. Here's your type size. So if you want to be real specific, you can do that as well. And you can also type in a specific type size if you want that. You can change your color right here. Here's the hexadecimal color, or just click on this swatch and choose a new color from your swatches. Let's put kind of a nice green there. There we are. You can put it into outline mode and change the size of the outline. And again, here's another way to handle that rotation. So as you can see, very easy to use this. If I click on Add Text again, you can get an additional text box. You can add in more than one piece of text if that's required for your image. Want to get rid of that? Just click on that text, hit the X sign, and that then cuts that out. Okay, so there you go. That's how to use the newly improved Aiarty Image Enhancer program. And I'm really happy with the new AI Eraser tool in here. That's a game changer. And I'm very happy that it can export out to TIFF and also work with camera raw images and save as the DNG file format. If you want to find out more about this program, I have links for that at the top of the description, including a discount link. Make sure you check that out. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button and give the video a like. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. And that way you won't miss any videos in the future. And I'll see you next time.